Welcome to tonight's summit session. My name is Reagan Fulton. I'm the marketing director for Adventure Nannies, and I'll be the host of tonight's session. Tonight, we're talking about a super important topic for nannies, and that is how to build joy in community. We talk a lot about what to do on the clock, but what about off the clock? Taking care of yourselves and connecting with others is key. And it's really important if you want to do this job for the long haul. We have the best person to talk about that today. Stephanie Bauckham is here to teach all about it. So welcome, Stephanie. I'm going to give a little background on Stephanie, and then we'll dive right into some questions. Stephanie's journey in the world of childcare is so inspiring. With a bachelor's degree in music and a background in early childhood as a music educator, she transitioned into the nanny profession, where she spent 13 years as a dedicated nanny and household manager. Drawing on her extensive experience and passion for supporting fellow caregivers, Stephanie founded Nanny Tees. This incredible company is more than just a fun apparel brand. It's a thriving community hub dedicated to fostering self-care, connection, and empowerment among nannies. Through Nanny Tees, engaging events, and online presence, Stephanie has become a vital voice in the nanny community, championing the importance and well-being of strong peer networks. Today, she's going to be sharing her personal insights, practical strategies, and invaluable advice on how nannies can build joyful lives and supportive communities outside of this demanding profession. So get ready for some insightful conversation with the wonderful Stephanie. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So to start us all off, just tell us a little bit about your journey. What first drew you into nanny? Tell us a little bit about your nanny journey and how you got into the nanny field.
I never thought about being a nanny ever in life. I was the one in church holding all the kids during service and volunteering for camp and in the nursery. And so I have always loved children and family. We were the house where everybody came over after church, and on weekends and after school, they would ask my parents and not ask me and my sister if they could come over. That's just the household we were. I went to college, got a bachelor's degree in music, and decided to start teaching early childhood music classes. And I needed to make some extra money on the side. So I decided to start offering childcare to my students. And they were like, oh my gosh, yeah, my music teacher and my nanny, yep. And so people kept having babies and I kept getting hired. And 13 and a half years later, I just never knew that would be my journey. But I just say it was the biggest blessing ever. I did work in corporate America a little bit, but got laid off. Then I went into music and childcare. And I know this path was chosen for me. I'm just really grateful.
Absolutely. I have heard so many stories like this. I feel like nannying is one of those. Nannying's almost like a cat. Sometimes you don't find it. It finds you. Fast forward through your nanny career, you created Nanny Tees. What's the story behind that? What inspired it? Was there a story, or what inspired you to create that and make self-care so important to your mission?
Interestingly, my nanny kid was down for a nap. And my attire every day was leggings and T-shirts, jeans and T-shirts, shorts and T-shirts. And I'd wear shirts with different phrases. And I'm like, I wonder if there's anything for nannies out there. I did a simple Google search and found a couple things. But I said, I'm going to create something. I found a designer, threw it up on this super ugly website. And that same day, nannies started ordering. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they love it. From then, as a nanny, you join these groups and you get a lot of feedback. And you're like, oh, she gets me or he gets me. And I'm not the only one dealing with this. We became this whole self-care brand, not just a T-shirt line. And so I just say a T-shirt connected me with some of my best friends in the whole world. That's how it came about, just being on the steps one day, sitting there while my nanny kid took a nap, and I just put a T-shirt on.
Absolutely. Before I even knew who you were, I saw Nanny Tees around Cincinnati. I had a friend who is obsessed with them. And once I found out who you were, she's like, yeah, those are the T-shirts I wear, Reagan. Because I was talking about you one time. I love it, and I love how far and wide it has come. And before we get in deeper into the self-care side, one more kind of fun Nanny Tee side, what is your favorite Nanny Tee design, and do you have a fun story behind it?
Oh, wow. There's several. I think the supercalifragilistic nannies are the dopest would probably be my favorite. I'm sitting in Starbucks with a friend, and we were just singing the song, and I was like, I need to put something on this. And so we were singing supercalifragilistic, and I said, nannies are the dopest. And we just exploded. Went back to my designer. We put on a tee, and that's been our biggest seller, is that one.
So. Yeah, I feel like that's the quintessential. It's great. I love that one. So pivot a little bit away from the t-shirt business and into that self-care side, because it seems like that was an organic shift. Started with the t-shirts and got in there. Why is it so crucial for nannies to have self-care and fulfilling personal lives outside of their nanny role? And how did you shift into that with your business and fashion-wise?
I became a burnt out nanny. I was working 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. as a nanny and household manager for a single mom. And I felt like I was the wife, y'all. I did everything, every single thing. And I would go home and literally just order food, go to sleep, wake up, and do the same thing every day. And I was so tired. My health started to decline. My house was a mess. I felt like I needed a nanny. I hired a housekeeper. And I'm like, this is not normal. I went to the mom and I said, hey, I'm exhausted and I need some backup here. And she was so sweet. And she hired a second nanny to relieve me on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And so I think about if I hadn't spoken up, where I would be, would it have landed me in the hospital or even worse? And then being in groups and friends with other nannies, they had similar stories. And I'm like, okay, a lot of us are exhausted, tired, burnt out. And I feel like I need to do something about it. So I started talking about it online in Nanny Tees and our email newsletters, and people started responding. And I'm like, okay, I'm not alone. And there's a need for this. So that's why we shifted towards self-care with the brand. In 2018, we hosted our first event here in Dallas for nannies. I said, okay, I'm just going to have a spa day. And they started signing up the same day. So when I started getting those fast reactions, I knew I was onto something. And there's really a need for this. We're natural nurturers. And sometimes we don't know how to say no because we care so much. I was missing birthday parties. I was missing family time. I was missing me time. I was letting myself go. And that's when I was starting to have wake-up calls. So that's how that happened.
Yeah, I know you are not the only one here who has been there. I saw people nodding as you were talking. Yes, absolutely. I think that's one of the hardest things. The nanny, you said, we are nurturers, we are caregivers. We give so much of ourselves to the profession. It is such a unique opportunity. You said something so powerful about, if I didn't ask my mom boss for that time, where would I be? I think so many nannies don't think they can speak up and ask for that help, and think that they'll be seen as unreliable if they ask for that help. And I think your story is so powerful about your mom just being like, yeah, absolutely, let's hire another nanny. You never know until you ask. And that might not be the outcome for every nanny. There's always something you can do to make adjustments, and you can't do anything unless you speak up. That is so powerful.
Interestingly, I worked for that mom in Texas and in San Diego and then Greenville. And next week, I'm going to the graduation of my nanny kid who's graduating from high school.
Oh
She
my
called me.
gosh.
She was like, do you want to come? I said, I will be there. She was like, come on out. We're going to surprise him. I'm just grateful that I could be that real with her and that we're still connected. So I can't wait to see them next week. Y'all will see pictures on social media.
That made it. Is your first nanny kid to graduate?
I think it is.
I've had a couple graduate high school, and I think the first will graduate college this year. It's a whole nother story when you get to the point where your nanny kids start graduating. Sending you all the love, because it's big feelings. But that's so amazing that you've been able to continue that relationship throughout the years. And I think that it's such a testament to why it is important to be honest and open in these relationships. And it is unique. And so when you do get to that point saying, hey, I need this, I need a shift, I need something to change in order to be sustainable, allowed you to not burn out and end up resenting that family and continue that relationship with them for years and years. So that is so amazing. When you did take that step back, obviously asking for help is the answer number one, but what are some other ways that you were able to pull yourself out of that burnout, and some actionable self-care strategies that you employed?
I had to start saying no when they asked me to stay late or work on weekends. That was really hard because we always need the extra money. It helps and they pay well. But I'm like, if I don't get out of here, I'm not going to have any friends. So that was a big thing. And then I had to get in my mind that if they fired me, that wasn't the family for me anyway. If they fire me just for saying no, or that I can't, or I need to take off, or I'm sick, that means that they really don't care about me either. Like, it's not fair for me to give so much care and give so much of my time, and then you not honor when I need time too. And so really developing the mindset that if I'm not okay, really, my nanny family won't be okay, because I have to be healthy. in order for them to be healthy. And I can't do my job well if I'm not well. And then I had to learn that it's okay to do other things outside of nanny life. I know I have a home nanny brand, but there's more to life than work. There's more to life than nanny. Yes, I'm Stephanie the nanny, but I'm also Stephanie who likes to go eat and try new restaurants, and Stephanie who likes to go explore and go for walks and make new friends and try to date a little bit. Life is so precious. I log on social media every day and see somebody who has lost a loved one. That could be me having a stroke or a heart attack because I'm not getting enough rest or because I'm so stressed out. There's life outside of the nanny life, and the right family will honor you as you honor them too.
Yes, I would say that could be such a hard thing because I think we work hard to build nanny community too. And because it's an isolating career, but then it can be a pendulum swing where all of a sudden your entire life is then about either, your nanny job or the nanny community, nanny gram, nanny whatever, nanny friends. And if that falls apart for some reason, or you lose your nanny family, you lose a nanny friend, you move to a new city, it could be like, what do I have left? Are there any actionable ways or tips you have for how to build that community outside of the nanny life and take those steps for any nannies who feel like, oh yeah, all my entire life is nanny?
Yes. One thing, it is good to have nanny friends. You got to have friends who get you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then some of my friends that I hang out with, we met as nannies, and then we find other things to do that are non-nanny stuff. That is super important. Be honest about what you like to do. Like, again, I love museums. I love to travel. I love to eat. I'm a big foodie. Put yourself in your planner. I don't know if y'all have a planner. I have a planner. I have notebooks. I have journals, all the things. If that means getting up 20 to 30 minutes earlier every day just to have me time, read that book that you like, do your devotional quiet time meditation, do that. I know everybody's family dynamic is different. You may have family near, far, wherever, but go see your family. I've had some loss, and sometimes it happens really fast. Sometimes it's coming, but family is everything. Even if that's family not by blood, make sure that you build a safe space for you that you can go and vent to, that you can go and just let your hair down. Definitely put yourself on the to-do list, build a life outside of work and set those boundaries. Plan your off days ahead of time. I had to learn how to plan my mental health days, especially after holiday seasons, because I honestly worked more when kids are out of school, they had spring break, or if Thanksgiving time is going to be really busy. Say, hey, that Monday after, I'm going to take off. Here's a nanny friend who may step in, or a great agency that can help you find someone. Don't be afraid to offer other resources to your families, because if they love you and they trust you, they will not fire you. So you can't be afraid to speak up and really live your life. I feel like they will respect you.
Yes, I think so too, especially a family who's worth continuing the relationship with, taking the opportunity to offer support, whether it be, hey, I know a local agency that does backup care, or I have some friends who might be able to come over and meet you, so that way they would be able to do that backup care, and offering what support is in your resources that you have can go a long way, and really showing them that you are invested in, no, I don't just want to take time off and I don't just hate my job. I think it's important and I want to give you the resources. They might not even take you up on it. They'll be like, oh no, don't worry about it. Grandma's going to do Wednesdays and you take them off. Just showing that you're willing, I think, is really important, even though it's not your job to provide that backup care. Clara has a great question on this topic. What are you passionate about outside of work? You mentioned you're a foodie, so we know that's one. But what other passions, like when you talk about figure out what you're passionate about? I love your idea about it's important to have nanny friends, but go do non-nanny things with them. That was like, yes, don't just meet up at the park with your nanny kids and have play dates. Go do non-nanny things with them. I think that is huge. So along that line, what do you do outside of work? What are your passions outside of eating delicious food?
I love live music. I love it. So I'm big on festivals. We have a lot of crafty things. There's this thing every year I go to called the Fort Worth Art Fair. And there's all these local makers. People really come from all over the nation to bring their art. And I spend a couple of days at Fort Worth. I love a staycation. I love staycations. Sometimes I'll just go stay at a hotel and then act like I'm not from the city and then explore. I love trains. We have a lot of local trains here in Dallas. What else do I do?
Oh, have you been did you go to Union Terminal yet while you were in Cincinnati?
I did not.
Oh, I know where I'm taking you. I know where
Okay.
I'm taking you if you
Let's
love
go.
trains when you come back.
Yes,
Yep,
let's do that.
absolutely.
I love the water. We have lakes here. My friend has a friend with a boat. So we've done boat rides. I follow a lot of influencers and people on Instagram. And so I have these whole folders of, it's called Explore DFW. So I just save stuff there and I go try them. I love nature. I've been exploring trails and outdoor places. Dallas is really big. So I just pick a city and explore. I do quite a bit.
I love that idea of being a tourist in your own city. That's so
Yes.
fun to just pretend you're going to go on vacation, but it's at home and find new things. There's a couple influencers from Cincinnati I follow, but actually seeking out those, like, what do people do when they come to your city? That's such a great tip. I love that. Shifting just a little bit back into self-care and what self-care even is. What are some common misconceptions, especially within the caregiving community, the nanny community, about what self-care is? We've talked about building community. That's part of self-care. What is it not? What are the misconceptions and how can we shift some of those misunderstandings into a more holistic view of self-care?
So I think we talk a lot about spa days and things like that is maintenance because you can get a massage, which are good. You can get facials, your hair done, nails done, and you should not let yourself go. If your mind isn't okay, then all that is just, I feel good at the moment, but it's not long term. Self care really is getting a good rest. It's not going to bed late and staying up early and scrolling. You really need sleep. Your body just needs it. Self care is getting great nutrition and all the things. We cannot survive off of coffee. I had to learn that too. I found when I was stressed out, every morning I would go get coffee from our favorite local coffee place and spend all my coins there. I'm like, I'm still tired. I'm getting my caffeine and having all this sugar. It really is planning those meals. If you need to meal prep on Thursdays, prepare for the whole weekend, or if you need to hire somebody, you can do that. Set aside those coins and that happen. Self-care is not overspending. I know sometimes and I've been guilty too, have stress shopped.
You mean it's not?
You could treat yourself every now and then, but you have to live too. You got to save and take care of your finances. Absolutely treat yourself. You should enjoy the fruit of your labor. Watch your spending too and saying, am I buying this just to cover up how I'm really feeling? Do I really need a third piece of cake or a cookie this week? What's really happening? And so I actually am a fan of therapy. If you have not sought out therapy, some type of counseling or something, because we can't solve our own problems. I just know I can't. I feel like I know quite a bit, but I don't know everything. And you need somebody to talk to. And so I really think that you should seek out some therapy just to make sure you're okay mentally. Just really do a mental health check-in and make sure you're okay.
I love that. For anyone who's never been to therapy, do you have any, whether it be a mantra or a inspiration, words of wisdom or tips for anybody who wants to try but is maybe a little bit scared?
Yeah. For a long time, I thought that same thing. Oh, I don't need any help. But then I lost my mother. And I said, oh, I'm not okay. Why am I feel like I'm calm, but I'm having all these heart palpitations and things happen. I'm like, oh, I need to talk to somebody. I think that was a big change for me. That was an eye opener that I needed some help. And so when I got that therapy, y'all, it put so many things into perspective. And she said, you're too available for other people. You've used being a natural nurturer as a means to being always accessible. You waking up early or waking up and checking your phone versus checking in with you is a problem. Solving everybody else's problems when your house is a mess is a problem. I don't think I would have realized how much of a people pleaser I was and how much I was neglecting myself in the name of serving. And so I think that sometimes we think that if we do more for more people, then, oh, I'm a great person. No, you deserve that same type of self-love. Imagine if you put as much energy into yourself that you put into your nanny family. Oh, nobody could tell you anything. Imagine giving yourself 40 hours a week of time, at least 10 hours a week, because really your routine is to get up, go serve them, then you come home and eat, go to bed and do that all. So you only give yourself a few hours a day, and that's not fair. If you have to find some help to help you navigate life, somebody said life coaches are helpful. Yes. Get all the coaching, the therapy. Sometimes your insurance will provide therapists. I had a friend who got free therapy through a college. So there are resources, even if you can't quite afford it. What local organizations, colleges, universities have who can help you? Because really, I'm telling you, it will change your life. It was then I realized I was a people pleaser because I was afraid that if I said no, they would be mad at me. I don't care now. I don't care. I will go to bed. Oh, sorry, I can't make it. Here's Becky's number. Here's a great agency down the street. She's wonderful. Check out this Facebook group. Let me know if you find someone. I'm not coming.
Yep.
I'm serious. I have gotten really bold with that because I want to live well. I really do.
I love that, what you said right at the beginning there. And I have similar situation. For me, it took a combination of postpartum depression and my grandfather passing. I think that would be my biggest takeaway from that too. And my biggest is don't wait until the big thing happens that you need it, because there's the tools that you need for life. And if you have them before the big thing happens, it's a heck of a lot easier to navigate it when you have the tools to navigate your emotions. Thank you so much for sharing that. That is a huge one. Back to community and growth in the community. What is the most rewarding thing that you have seen about growth in the nanny community since you started? Well, you said 2018 was when Nanny Tees started. That was the first retreat, right? Before that, what has changed from when you first entered the community to now? What does it look like?
I feel like Nanny Tees is turning 10 this year. We're actually already 10. And I just feel like we are a limitless community. I have met some of my best friends online. Some I haven't even met in person, and some I have met in person. They are literally my best friends. And so I think there is no community like the nanny community. It is so beautiful. We have such an impact. I say we are influencers behind the scenes. These children and families' lives that we are impacting, the public and their schools and community are getting the fruit of our labor. You should be proud of who you are. If you never get recognized, the fruit of who that child is you too. Number one, we are amazing, amazing. And you can pop your collar, be confident in who you are as a nanny. And then our industry as a whole, I think it's so beautiful. Social media has been a great tool. And then even the local communities. If you're not involved in a local nanny community, definitely get involved, because again, it's important to have nanny friends, but it's amazing things like this that Adventures Nannies is doing. And your nanny camp is so needed. Everybody else has their conferences, doctors and all this, but what about nannies too? And so that, to see how that has grown is amazing. I think we still have a long ways to go. I wish that we got more publicity, because a lot of people focus on the mom, dad, and kids, but they forget about the nannies behind the scenes who are really doing the work. And they talk about teachers and nurses.
Unless it's a negative story.
You know what, right? I'm like, why is that? And I talk to families quite a bit. I love to tell my story about how I've been able to serve, and that helps too. So I actually encourage you, if you feel comfortable, to tell your story on social media. Tell your story to your community. Try to get some media coverage, because nannies really don't get the limelight that they should. But when they find out about nanny life, oh, they love it. I love to see where we're going. There are no limits. There's a growth of nanny groups. I think I'm in several groups of like over 10,000 nannies, which is amazing. But there's still a long way to go.
On the nanny group side, we have a question about recommending any nanny groups. Are there any top nanny groups that you would suggest joining? I'm a little disconnected from the nanny groups at this point. Once they find out I'm not a nanny anymore and with an agency, they kick me out. So I don't know which ones are most active, but some of them still. But
I'm sorry you kicked out.
Oh, just some of them. And I get it. It's got to be a safe space for nannies to be able to express. I understand it. But then there's some that are welcoming to anybody in the community as well. You know, my nanny circle, nanny care hub. Do you have a group that you run, Stephanie, as well?
I run a smaller business group, but I would recommend Nanny Council, the Nannyhood, the Nanny Love. I think those are the three. And what is Laura's group? I think you said a nanny
care cadre.
Also look into your local nanny group. So if you're in Dallas, there's Dallas area nannies. There's like New York nannies of New York. I think I'm in that group too. think there's a Cincinnati. I'm in the LA nanny group. So find your local groups. So there's tons.
Yes, I think that's the biggest difference for myself. When I first joined the nanny community, it was very local. I think Cincinnati's a incredibly special place that we have such a large nanny community here locally, or that we have for a long time, because I'm super happy to see it growing in other cities as well. That makes me so happy. But all the different cities becoming more interconnected, whether it be social media, events, I just love it. Just learn from each other and learn and grow. So if you had one kind of wish for the nanny community and where you want to see it grow, where would that be?
I wish, honestly, that all of us who are nanny leaders can come together and host the biggest nanny with over 10,000 nannies at a convention center. I really would love that. And I feel like
I also, while I love it, you're staring me, girl.
I'm serious. Like, I feel like we can do, because there's so many moving parts. Like, everybody does their own thing. But imagine if we all really came together and said, okay, we're going to just meet up in, I don't know, Denver. That's the center of the country. And we're going to have the biggest nanny party ever in life. All the leaders of all these groups that I mentioned come together, and let's just have a weekend for us. I think, I get it. We all have our own thing, but there's so much more power when we work together.
No, I think that's a huge, you can have your self-care retreat and we can have nanny camp and have the same mission, and we can support each other. I think it's silly when we think there's not room for all of us to grow and thrive together, because when, like you said, we all grow together. When one of us shines, we all shine. When we get good recognition in the media and it's not somebody in the media for something horrible as a nanny, that's good for all of us. And so I agree. I think I'm excited to see where it continues to grow as more leaders get interconnected and yeah, let's do it. 10,000. Oh my God, an event with 10,000 nannies though, scaring me half to death.
We could do it.
Yes.
Let me say, Adventure Nannies has supported, I believe, every single retreat I've done. Every single one. And you guys don't have to, but the fact that you say yes so quickly just tells me how selfless you are and how loving and how community driven you are. That's why you're so successful, because you really support. And we need it. Like, you do events. It's hard. Yeah. It is work. And the fact that you support it says so much. Shout out to Adventure Nannies for being all the things for all the nannies.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. I think it's so important to give back. We wouldn't be anywhere without nannies. We know that. And y'all pay our salaries. And whether you are someone who has actually been placed with Adventure Nannies, or you're a nanny who's never applied to one of our jobs, who's out there elevating the profession and showing the world what amazing nannies do. I think it's our job to give back to you guys and elevate you as well. So thank you. And it's our pleasure. We're going to do quick questions and answers, but let's talk about the retreat before we dive into any questions, just because I feel like that's a good segue, because I'm so excited that you're coming to Cincinnati. Tell us about the retreat. Why are you coming to Cincinnati? That's what, no one comes to Cincinnati, and now everyone's coming to Cincinnati. So tell us about Cincinnati.
Yeah, absolutely. So I started them locally in Dallas in 2018. And then in 2022, we went to San Diego. And it was a beautiful retreat. And I had 2 nannies from Cincinnati there. And they were like, you need to come to Cincinnati. And so we went to Denver. We went to LA. We've been back in Texas. And I'm like, okay, we'll come. And in 2025, we decided to do our 10-year retreat in Cincinnati. And I'm super excited about it. It is June 5th through 8th. We do have tickets left. We have space. And it's just a weekend of self-care. I'm super excited. Reagan is coming to lead our adventure walk that Saturday morning. We have other local nannies. Greta's coming. We're going to do some stretching, a PJ party, a day in nature, spa day. It's just really big on my heart to pour back into nannies, because we pour out so much. I'm excited about our retreat this year. Again, you can find out information at nannytees.com/retreat and join us. And if you can't join this one, we'll probably be in Texas in 2026, and who knows where in 2027. Maybe we'll come to your city and do a pop-up spa day. We need it. My heart really is with the nanny. And I say, once a nanny, always a nanny. I don't care if you were a nanny 20 years ago, you're still a nanny, because you get it. And so I'm just excited to serve in that capacity.
That warmed my heart, the once a nanny, always a nanny, because I haven't technically been a nanny for 3 or 4 years now. Like you said, oh, it was a nanny, always a nanny. I think that's why I can't get away from the community, and I'm drawn back again and again. It is such a beautiful community and it's taught me so much. I'm super excited to get out in nature to some nannies, my city, and go play in the woods for a little bit and learn a little bit about what it is to connect with nature, not necessarily for your kids. So thank you so much. Do you have any other words of wisdom before we drop into questions? What are your final 3 words of wisdom for self-care, or 3 tips that you would want any nanny listening to this to walk away from this knowing?
Absolutely. I think the first thing is to always put yourself first. It is not selfish. It is self-care to put yourself first. You need it. Be intentional with that. Secondly, and this is a big one, you don't have to stay at a nanny job that you hate. There are so many families out there who would love for you to be their nanny, and they're ready to treat you well and pay you well. And so don't feel obligated to stay anywhere that is toxic, because where you work is important, and where you work has a big impact on your health. I've made the mistake of staying places just for a check, but I'm telling you, you can't enjoy the check if you're stressed out. I don't care what it is. You have to believe here first and in your heart that there are families out there who would love for me to be their nanny and who are ready to welcome me as one of their own. Lastly, live your life, enjoy your life, because life is so precious. It really is. Take care of yourself physically, mentally, financially, relationally, and just live. Just live and enjoy. So I think those would be my top 3 things.
That is amazing. Thank you so much for being here, Stephanie, and everybody. This has been so wonderful. I love what you do. I love your mission. And I just cannot wait to see you here in just a few weeks here in Cincinnati.
Thank you for having me. It means so much. This is a topic that is very dear to me because it's something that I've had to overcome. Reach out to me on social media. I stay on Instagram all the time, on Facebook. I love meeting new nanny friends. And if you have any questions, let's connect. I'm always sending a voice memo. So definitely reach out and let's stay in touch.
Absolutely. Yes. And if you're listening to the replay, watching, or anything, we will make sure that Stephanie's Instagram links and everything are in the show notes. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And we will see you next time.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.